Hallelujah. put it up.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Marion High School. We are pleased that you are able to join us for our Veterans Day ceremony. Please stand for the posting of the colors, the playing of our national anthem, and the Pledge of Allegiance.
which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated.
Good afternoon. We would like to begin our ceremony by extending our welcome to those of you in attendance today. Thank you to all of our students, our parents, our families, members for joining us today. We would also like to thank the Marion ISD members of the board and the faculty and staff of Marion ISD in attendance this afternoon. Finally, we would like to welcome local responders of the surrounding areas, Marion City Council, and our Marion High School military recruiters. Before we move further into our program, we would like to express our thanks to the students and faculty who have helped make this program possible. Some of our guests today are joining us through the Marion High School YouTube channel. The audio-video students and Ms. Dow have made the live stream possible. Clint Bingham and Bill Goodman have orchestrated the band performances by our middle and high school students. Under the leadership of Ms. Worsbach, Ms. Hollick, and Ms. Rader, our art and floral design students have created an atmosphere of honor for our guests. Our Bulldog cheerleaders and the Emerald dance teams are greeters this afternoon. Ms. Reeves and the culinary students prepared refreshments for our veterans guests. Mr. Riley and his welding practicum students created the patriotic table located at the entrance of our gym. The table will be sold at auction and the proceeds will be donated to the veterans organizations. Thank you to Susan Thetford, Jay Wyndham, and the maintenance teams for our patriotic display of the flags around our facilities. Ms. Eastless and her theater students have worked on their performances and are working behind the scenes today. Finally, veteran Corporal Hicks guided and trained Private First Class Eli Rivera and future enlistee Colton Smith as they posted the colors today. We appreciate all that have made this ceremony possible. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. When Veterans Day began, it was originally called Armistice Day. It was designed to honor and celebrate the peace brought about by the end of World War I. In the 1950s, it became Veterans Day, a day where we stop to honor those who have served or are serving our country. For where would the peace and liberty of our nation be were it not for the men and women who faithfully serve? During World War II, just before the troops marched out on D-Day, President Eisenhower messaged them with these comments. "The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you." We are those liberty-loving people as referred to by President Eisenhower. So today we pause. We pause and turn our eyes and our hearts to you, our veterans. For you have lived, are living, or will live a life of service and sacrifice for our countrymen and women. G.K. Chesterton wrote, "The true soldier fights not because he hates what is in front of him, but because he loves what is behind him. And I would add, he loves what is beside him." Your strength is forged with your fellow soldiers through the fire of adversity. You put yourself in harm's way for the liberties and freedoms of our countrymen. So, to the veterans of the Marion community and our extended community, you are our most honored guests this afternoon. Because of your selflessness, we honor you. Because of your commitment to our nation, we honor you. Because you live a life by a creed that won't accept defeat, we honor you. Because you have left no comrade behind, we honor you. Because of all you sacrifice, we honor you. We are grateful for your service to our nation, and we are honored by your presence here today.
From Valley Forge to Vietnam, from Kuwait to Kandahar, from Berlin to Baghdad. These patriots have borne the cost of our nation's wars. Like other things of great value, our freedom did not come cheaply. Part of the cost has already been paid by Americans who answered the call to military duty. Their selfless service has made our nation strong and our world a better place. Freedom is not free.
The American Revolution, 4,435 killed in battle, 6,188 wounded.
Freedom is not free. The Civil War, 214,938 killed in battle, 285,000 wounded. Freedom is not free.
World War I, 953,402 killed in battle, 204,000 wounded.
Freedom is not free. World War II, 219,557 killed in battle, 671,846 wounded. Freedom is not free.
The Korean War, 33,686 killed in battle, 103,284 wounded.
Freedom is not free. The Vietnam War, 47,410 killed in battle, 153,303 wounded. Freedom is not free.
The Gulf War, 147 killed in battle, 467 wounded.
Freedom
Is not free.
The War on Terror and Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom, 137,030 killed in battle, 52,369 wounded. Freedom is not free.
We owe our surviving veterans a place of honor. Some need our country's help to readjust, to recover from the mental and physical wounds of war. Most ask for nothing in repayment for their sacrifices. Let us continue to help those veterans in need with the utmost compassion and gratitude. And to the rest, let us pay tribute on this day by recognizing their achievements and joining them in the resolve to keep our beautiful country strong and free.
I have the honor this afternoon of introducing our guest speaker, Mr. Cliff Hill. Mr. Hill served, he deserves that. Mr. Hill served in the U.S. Army from 1999 to 2007 as a Staff Sergeant Cavalry Scout. He served in the 1st 3rd Armored Cavalry Regiment at Fort Carson, the Colorado 3rd Armored Cavalry Regiment, the 56th Brigade Combat Team, the 36th Infantry Division, and the 18th Airborne. Mr. Hill has participated in 2 military tours, Operation Bright Star Egypt and Operation Iraqi Freedom. Mr. Hill has been a teacher and a coach for 12 years and is currently at Marion High School as a special education teacher. He is also the assistant head football coach and head track coach. Coach Hill is the proud father of 2 beautiful daughters, Gracie and Emmy. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our guest speaker, Mr. Cliff Hill.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. Thank y'all. Thank you, Ms. Lindholm and Ms. Snyder. And thank you to these veterans. It's an absolute honor to be here today to represent Marion and represent the armed forces. This day is near to my heart. I went to another one today at my children's school, and man, America is alive, and it's a beautiful thing to see. So I'm not a me guy. Those that know me, I'm not a me guy. If I was talking about our Marion kids or staff, I could sit up here and talk for 2 or 3 hours. So bear with me because it's a little difficult for me to talk about me. Okay, so talk a little bit about my journey to becoming a veteran. It wasn't my initial goal. My grandfather was a Korean War vet, World War II. I had a little brother. He went in the service. He went in the Marines. Well, in high school, I was the guy. Homecoming court, sports, loved it. Working towards common goal, competing, all that stuff. So college kind of didn't work out. I came home Christmas break. Brother was coming in from the Marines. Hadn't seen him. He comes in. He's in his dress uniform, and he's got respect. Like instantly, like he had changed. Everybody looked at this young man as a different person. And me, I was sitting over there. I didn't have that anymore. And so I was like, how do I get something? So I was in admiration of my little brother. And here he was, you know, I'm the older brother, supposed to be teaching him lessons. So fast forward, I go to Walmart, had to get this hottest new fishing lure that they had over there. So I'm in Walmart in San Marcos, and this guy leans over my shoulder, and he's talking to me, asking me about fishing stuff. And asking me if this lure's good. And I said, yeah. I said, man, this is good. He says, well, what are you doing, son? I said, well, I'm fixing to go fishing. And he goes, you ever thought about the military? I was like, not really. Well, a couple days later, I make a phone call. Fast forward a couple months, and I find myself in Fort Knox, Kentucky at basic training. So that was kind of my journey to the military. I was in search of something. Something was missing inside me to belong to something, to work for a greater good, to be a part of something special. I think that's what a lot of our members in the audience have today. And some of you in those seats in the gym, you're going to find yourself a lot like me. Maybe a little lost, not sure what you're going to do. And maybe that opportunity to serve and protect our way of life will call to you. I hope it does, because it's a wonderful, wonderful thing to be a part of. So with that said, the definition of veteran, I saw one of these things on Facebook or on social media, and it kind of hit home, and I think it's a little deeper than what it sounds like. It says, veteran definition, honorably served in the armed forces, someone who has at one point wrote a blank check payable to the United States of America for an amount up to including their life to preserve our sacred way of life. So what does that mean? Okay, it means making a conscious decision to step into the unknown, right? You don't know what's happening. When I got on that plane to go to Fort Knox, Kentucky, when these young men and women get on a boat, they don't know. They're leaving their safe little bubble of what they know. They're making a conscious decision to go into the unknown, possibly with the price tag of their life. And it happens more than what you would think. So going into the known is kind of a lot like what we're doing right now in society, right? Not trying to get political or anything like that, but this is a very unknown time. Okay, so the military, I was fortunate enough, they equip you with a lot of tools to overcome adversity. All right, and so that's what a lot of you young guys and gals up there, you've got to learn to overcome adversity. Okay, you what you can control, and that really didn't dawn on me till after 9/11. I was a soldier, enjoying my job, going downrange, training, seeing the United States, going all these different places. It was just a job, and I was fixing to get out, go to college, and then 9/11 happened. And next thing I know, we're being called in 0630. They're handing us live rounds. We're going to the gates in Fort Carson, Colorado. I'm like, what is going on? Here I am stateside being issued live ammunition. Blackhawks are airing up. What's going on? And so that was a real moment that it occurred to me. Yes, I'm wearing this uniform, but they're wanting to cash in that check that I wrote. So fast forward 9/11, my life changed. A few months after 9/11, a little while later, training and so forth, end up in Iraq, and just changes your perspective. It changed my perspective greatly, and I think that's something we can all benefit from. Everybody's experiences on deployments, training, veterans is different. Mine was, I came home, I was more grateful. I was grateful to be in this gym with y'all. I was grateful to be at Marion. I was grateful to have two beautiful children. I was grateful to interact. I was grateful for hot food, a toilet. I was grateful to be home for Christmas. I was grateful to be there for the birth of my children. These are the things that these people in this audience have given up countless times. Not there for their son's birthday. Can't make that first game. Okay, so when I came home, I was grateful for fruit, really. Fruit was delicious. I hadn't had fruit in 12 months. But I was grateful for so much. And you can ask some of the kids around here, I always tell them, I said, you act like you're judging me because I love what I do. It's because I'm grateful for that opportunity. And truly, truly am grateful to be here at Marion and to experience all this. I mean, to me, that's what a veteran does. They provide a security blanket so that we can continue to live the way of life that we want to live. That's the way I believe my grandfather did it. That's the way I believe my brother did it. And you find some solace in that, right? Like, this is sacred, what we have here. And until you go to other places, you don't realize how good you got it, right? We gripe about the AC not working. Well, we got electricity. You got shoes. You got a mom or you got some significant other that cares about you. So that's where I'm coming out with the grateful part of it. And that's just kind of how I live my life. But in terms of Veterans Day and what it means is all these people made a conscious decision to go into the unknown. And each path and story is unique to its own. Each person's adventure is their own. I always thought of the armed forces like a bicycle. It takes all the spokes to be strong and placed correctly for it to function properly. No one branch is better than the other. Sorry, Marines, okay? All right, no one branch is better than the other, okay? But it takes all those spokes to function properly, okay? And that bicycle tire is what drives this country, okay? And today's the day that we celebrate those that made that conscious decision to make that happen. Real quick before I finish up here, You know, like I was talking about, the military equips you with leadership skills, teamwork, accountability, discipline, all those types of things. And I keep referring to adversity because I feel that's something I struggled with as a young person. I see it in a lot of our students and so forth too. Control what you can control. I couldn't control going to Iraq. I was getting on that plane whether I wanted to or not, right? So as soon as I wrapped my head around that, and I controlled what I controlled, because in the combat arena, things go wrong, like fatally wrong, right? There's lots of mistakes that are made. There could be a flat tire. It could be whatever. Things are going to happen daily in your life that you're going to have to overcome. You have to control what you can control, and your perspective on that is everything. Okay? So have a great perspective on it, no matter how bad it gets. Trust me, I've been there and worse. Okay? No matter how bad it gets, control what you can control, and you'll get through it. I hope that makes sense, and thank you all so much for having me out today. Happy Veterans Day.
Each branch of the U.S. Armed Forces maintains its own military marching band to inspire troops and preserve tradition. Though they now serve ceremonial function, these bands were an integral element in the battlefield. To increase morale and courage of the men, bands would march in front of formations as they entered battle. Yet as the number of musicians dwindled, commanders delegated marching bands to the rear of the formation behind the combat-ready troops. Today, bands are no longer involved in armed conflict, but continue to inspire troops through song or hymn that represent the individual histories and traditions of America's armed forces. At this time, Marion middle and high school representatives will recite a bit of history of each of the service songs.
U.S. Coast Guard, Semper Paratus. The Coast Guard's motto of Semper Paratus, or always ready, was officially recognized in 1910, and thenceforth appeared on the ensign. In 1922, Captain Francis S. Van Boeskirk was inspired to write an official U.S. Coast Guard song that would rival Anchors Aweigh or the Casian song. 5 years later, while stationed in the Aleutian Islands, Boeskirk composed the accompanying music on a dilapidated old piano in Una, Alaska. The geographically diverse origins of this piece are fittingly illustrated in the song's first line, from Aztec shore to Arctic zone, to Europe and Far East, Semper Paratus remains the proud standard and song of the United States Coast Guard.
U.S. Air Force. Nothing will stop the U.S. Air Force. In 1938, the Army Air Corps decided they needed an official song. Liberty magazine sponsored a contest whereby 757 scores were submitted. Of those, one written by Robert Crawford was selected by a committee of Air Corps wives and officially introduced at the Cleveland Air Races in 1939. Crawford himself sang it in its first public performance. When the Army Air Corps became a separate branch of the military in 1947, Crawford's march changed names from the Army Air Corps to the U.S. Air Force. Since that time, the first line of "Nothing will stop the U.S. Air Force" became a motto and tradition.
U.S. Navy Anchors Aweigh. In an attempt to write a catchy tune to rally the Naval Academy's football team, Anchors Aweigh was born. Lieutenant Charles A. Zimmerman, the U.S. Navy bandmaster from 1887 to 1916, started the practice of composing a march for each graduating class. However, none of these tunes really caught on. In 1906, Zimmerman was approached by midshipman Alfred Hart Miles to write a piece of music that would be inspiring, one with swing to it so it could be used as a football marching song, and one that would live forever. Together, Zimmerman and Hart composed the tune and lyrics that became Anchors Aweigh, dedicated to the class of 1907. The new fight song indeed propelled Navy to a win that year over Army. The march was subsequently adopted as the official Navy song and continues to inspire classes of Naval Academy midshipmen.
U.S. Marine Corps, the Marines Hymn. An unlikely venue hosted the debut of a tune many now associate with the Marines Hymn. In the city of Paris, France, Jacques Offenbach wrote and conducted opera, and most believe the melody of the Marines Hymn was, in fact, taken from one of Offenbach's operas. His tune was morphed to fit the now famous lines, "From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli." According to tradition, an officer wrote the first verse of the hymn on duty in the Mexican War, meant to highlight the various campaigns of the Marines. The unknown author edited the words from the Marines' colors and added them to Offenbach's melody. Continuing the custom, every campaign the Marines participate in gives birth to a new, unofficial verse.
U.S. Army. The Army goes rolling along. Before the Caisson song was adopted as the official tune of the U.S. Army, it was a proud anthem of the U.S. Field Artillery Corps. During a long march in the Philippines, Lieutenant Edmund L. Schnitz Grubber overheard an officer roar, "Come on, keep 'em rolling." Fellow soldiers helped Grubber with the lyrics, and in almost no time, all six regiments of the U.S. Field Artillery had adopted the Caisson song as a popular marching tune. During the last days of World War I, senior artillery leaders wanted to make the Caisson song official, and mistaking the piece as composed during the Civil War, allowed bandmaster John Philip Sousa to incorporate most of the song into his own composition, the U.S. Field Artillery March. Discovering Grubber actually wrote the melody, and as embarrassing but innocent Sousa made certain Grubber received his royalties. H.W. Ardbeg arranged the U.S. Army song, renaming it "The Army Goes Rolling Along."
Thank you. The Marion High School Band will play an array of our nation's service songs. Veterans and active duty soldiers who are attending today's ceremony, we invite you to stand when your service song is played.
As you entered the room, you may have noticed a special table. It is reserved to honor our missing men. The table is round to show our everlasting concern for our missing men. The tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their motives when answering the call to duty. The single red rose displayed in the vase is to remind us of the life of each of the missing and their loved ones and friends of these Americans who keep the faith, awaiting answers. The vase is tied with a red ribbon, symbol of our continued determination to account for our missing. A slice of lemon on the bread plate is to remind us of the bitter fate of each of those captured and missing in a foreign land. A pinch of salt symbolizes the tears endured by those missing and their families who seek answers. The Bible represents the strength gained through faith to sustain those lost from our country, founded as one nation under God. The glass is inverted to symbolize their inability to ever share a toast. The chair is empty. They are missing.
At this time, students and guests, please stand and honor our fallen soldiers. as Taps is being played. At the conclusion of Taps, please join us in the singing of Amazing Grace to close out our ceremony.
Please join us in singing Amazing Grace. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear in the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun.
Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Please be safe in your travels home.